a quick message about overstimulation and the detrimental effects of being overly stimulated, and the two things that are overstimulating us on an everyday basis that we might not be fully aware of, but that can actually be causing a lot of trouble and too much drama that is not even needed. Like, too much drama happens from an overstimulated nervous system. And what are the two criminals in the sense of creating the most overstimulation? It is the phone and social media. So it's the phone and caffeine. Those are the two. Most of society is using their phone every single day, right? And most of society is also caffeinating themselves. What are we seeing in society? We're seeing trouble, we're seeing problems, we're seeing a lot of people fighting, arguing, holding on to their opinions for the point of dear life, like as if their opinion is worth hating on someone else for. Overstimulation is a big problem for a lot of humans, including myself. So what is overstimulating us in the sense of the phone? Well, going on social media. Every time we open up the phone, it creates a dopamine rush in the brain. But eventually that becomes a very short-lived dopamine fix, and it's a short-lived pleasure reward that is not actually going to create true pleasure and reward in our lives as actual true meaningful activities would do, such as reading a great book and learning something new every day, such as sitting in nature, drinking your tea while you're observing nature, such as doing a workout or meditation or breath work or a yoga flow. There is also something to the caffeine. So caffeine will give a false sense of energy. It will give the sense that, look at me, I can now do a lot of things. Look at me, I now feel more uplifted and energized. When really what we're doing is we're borrowing that energy. We're not actually being energy, being open to letting the infinite energy flow through us. Instead, we're borrowing energy. And that borrowing of energy, now we have to actually take energy from parts of our body, and it can actually create weakness in the body in the long term to be using caffeine as a source of energy. And it can become overstimulation if we are caffeinating ourselves while also looking at social media, especially those short reels, those like really short reels, the 1 minute and 30-second reels. Like, if we're swiping on those, that's like fast food for our brain. And what does fast food do to us? It actually can create a sense of feeling not so smart. And that's why we see a lot of people fighting, arguing, creating more separation in the world versus more love and peace and harmony. And guys, we are so blessed and fortunate. We don't live in a place where there's a war right now. But even still, we are at war with each other and with ourselves. What is the cause of this? In my opinion, in my experience, overstimulation is the number one reason for conflict. It is overstimulation that causes drama. Because when we are calm and have a resourced, regulated nervous system, that is when we can truly be available for others. That is when we actually are more curious versus judgmental when we don't agree with someone. Instead of starting to judge them, say they're bad, say they're wrong when we don't agree with them, instead we start to ask questions. We might take a breath, we might feel our own body, we might shake and take care of ourselves in smart ways versus stupid ways. Because there are ways to take care of ourselves when we're overstimulated, which could be, oh man, I'm so fucking annoyed and angry right now. The way I'm going to deal with it is through, maybe I'm going to overeat, or maybe I'm going to throw this thing, or maybe I'm going to judge my brothers and sisters and throw at them a bunch of harsh words that don't really make sense, and I don't really know if those are actually true words about that person. Those are just coming from my own triggering reaction, because the truth is no human being is actually bad or wrong. It's like our own perception of that human being that makes them bad or wrong, and it's our own triggering reaction. And being overstimulated is what causes that. It's what causes a feeling of threat in society, in the world. It's what makes us feel that we're not safe. We can actually be a truly safe space for ourselves by eliminating these two factors of too much caffeine and too much phone usage. So have boundaries with the phone, put it away, don't look at it, because every time you look at the social media especially, it does something to the chemical, the brain chemistry, you know, and it creates imbalances. And all of a sudden, we're going to be more kind of addicted actually to needing these short, quick fix dopamine hits just to feel any sort of sense of reward or meaningful, you know, experience in our lives. When really the truly meaningful experiences are beyond the stimulating quick fix dopamine hits of social media and caffeine. They are in nature. They are in true one-on-one, authentic, real connection. They are in doing something that you love, that you're passionate about. They are in creating something versus consuming something. So true dopamine comes from actually setting out a goal and executing on it. It is having a daily goal, a weekly goal, a yearly goal, and actually taking action and doing it. That creates real natural dopamine, as well as doing a bunch of push-ups, as well as doing squats. All these things are great for natural dopamine. The reward system, the natural reward system, obviously breath work is too, and all these things. So we're so blessed. There's so many ways to be naturally feeling that long-lasting dopamine versus constantly feeding our brain the fast food, junk food, processed dopamine, which comes from the short reels and all of that stuff. Now, I am someone that posts on social media, and I have boundaries with it. I don't look at it all the time. I might post and then I go off of it for many hours. In fact, it is actually really important to have a boundary, to only be on social media a total of no more, a maximum of 30 minutes every day, no more than that. Because if you're doing more than that, it's just taking away from the joy of life you could be experiencing, you know what I mean? Or the beauty of just sitting and observing nature itself. Or the beauty of just sitting with the humans you love in silence together while you're sipping on some herbal teas. And you know, caffeine. Sure, it's fun for the moment. You get energized, you get perked up and everything. But where is that energy from? It's borrowed energy. The deepest, most satisfying, exciting feeling is being naturally energized from having gotten enough rest, from living a life you love, following your passions, being courageous, speaking your fucking truth in productive, constructive ways. These are the ways to truly be energized. Opening up your body through different movements of your hips and simply just movement, shaking, exercise, breath, sound, movement practices of all sorts. That's a way to be naturally energized and to just rest when you feel tired versus keep moving. Obviously, I know not everybody has that privilege, but even still, I'd say if you're gonna have caffeine, cacao is a better alternative. Drink your cacao instead of your yerba mate and your coffee, because cacao, there's one little molecule that makes the caffeine hit differently, there's actually even more oxygen going to your brain when you drink cacao versus when you drink coffee, yerba mate, or green tea. So if you want to have less conflict in your life, more harmony, more peace, more love, drink cacao instead as a caffeine alternative. And if you want to have even more beauty and peace of mind and clarity and become more creative, just put away your phone, don't even look at it, and start doing all these holistic practices instead and feel yourself living a much more richer, holistic, fulfilling life, because you're worth it, I'm worth it, we're all worth it. And when we do this, we can actually come together in harmony and choose to ask more questions and be more curious when we don't understand versus just right away start judging each other. Because we are all here to create heaven on earth, and it's all of our responsibility to calm down, to create peace inside. And if we're overstimulated, that is very hard. So take responsibility and own up to the addiction of social media that might be overstimulating you and creating overactivity in your brain, imbalances of dopamine and chemicals and hormones, and also take responsibility in the caffeine levels. And I'm saying this all to myself. We are all worthy of living a life that is so juicy, so fucking sexy, and a turn on from truly doing that which lights us up and makes us feel like we're being rewarded every single moment of our life, from simply being and existing and living in a way that is in alignment with our highest, greatest values. That's what I'm here for. That's what I freaking stand for. And that's what I choose to bless myself with and give myself starting right now. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Bye. I love you. Thumbs up, subscribe if you want. See you soon in another video.